everybody. I am doing another seminar today on improvisation. We're going to do an easy song and I'm going to teach you how to improv, some simple chords that we're going to use, and different styles of improvisation that we're going to do, and what the structure of the music looks like when you are improving. So let's get started. Okay, so today we are going to do For He's a Jolly Good Fellow, a fairly easy song. So, this is going to be your melody line. This is your treble clef, so that's your right hand. And the song is in 3/4 time. So there's 3 beats. For every measure, the quarter note gets the beat. So this is all your right hand, every line. Up here, this is the chord. This is actually going to become your left hand. So we're going to play C chord in the first measure, C chord in the second, F chord in the third, C in the fourth. A chord is a unique spelling of 3 notes. It can be 2 or more notes played with one hand. Every chord is unique, and no 2 chords are spelled the same. So a C chord on the piano is spelled C-E-G. A C chord on guitar is spelled C-E-G. It's literally spelled the same way regardless. So anyways, so that's the chord work. In guitar, you might see, the little capo thing on how to play it, but in music, you normally just kind of see the letter. Okay? So going on. So the music looks like this, and it's going to be C, then C. And again, if there's nothing in the measure, then we're going to play that same chord again at the beginning of the measure. Additionally, where this letter falls in the measure is exactly where you're going to play it. So this is beat 1. We're going to play it with beat 1 of the measure. Here's F. It falls beat 1. Basically, we are playing at the beginning of every measure, as you can see. G's on beat 1, beat 1, beat 1. Okay? A couple of other things I want to go over before I play this, is we have 3 chords in this song. We have our C chord, which is spelled C-E-G. We have our F chord, which is spelled F-A-C. And we have our G chord, which is spelled G-B-D. Now, when you are playing chords in what's called a progression, it's called a progression when you move from a chord to another chord. When you move in progression in piano, we try very hard to not have to move our hands very much. And if you play a lot of piano, you understand what I'm talking about. So if we were to go to the piano here for a second, and we were going to play root position of the C chord, the F chord, and the G chord, this is what it would look like. So we'd be playing C chord, C-E-G. We would be playing an F chord as F-A-C. So you see how far we have to move. We have to move from C, our 5 on C, pinky, and now we're going to have to put our 5 on F. That's kind of a lot of movement for someone who is not that quite adept at either changing chords or maybe hasn't been playing for that long. And then from going from C chord to G chord, which we're doing quite a bit, look how far that is. That's 5 notes that we're going to go from pinky on C to pinky on G. That is a whole lot of moving, and we don't really like to move that much in the accompaniment or the left hand. So instead what we do is we do what's called inverting the chord. So this is changing the spelling. It's still an F chord, but you're changing the position on the piano that you're doing the chord. So instead of spelling the chord F-A-C with 5 on F, we're going to flip the chord around and we are going to spell it C-F-A with our 5 now on C. Same thing with the G. Instead of spelling it G-B-D, we're going to flip it around and put the B on the bottom, so it's now spelled B-D-G. And here is why. When we go from playing C chord here, we don't want to move. So instead of playing the F chord with F on the bottom and moving here, we're going to keep the 5 on C and just flip the chord around, so now it's C-F-A. Back to C, back to F, back to C. So there's literally no movement. You're keeping your pinky in the exact same spot, which is awesome. Here's the other chord. And then we're going to go from a C chord to a G chord. So instead of that, we're going to keep our thumb the same, and we're going to spell our G chord as B-D-G. that's basically the basics of improvisational work with chords. It depends on what key you're in, what chord you're coming from, what's the next chord you're going to, where are you going after that, is what spelling of the chord that you're going to use in order to progress. So a couple of other things that's important. When we improv, we can do 3 styles of a bass line. We can do what's called a block chord, which looks like this. And basically it's playing 1 chord a measure in the left hand. And as you can see, we're going to make this chord 3 beats, since each measure is 3 beats. So I'm going to play for He's a Jolly Good Fellow with a block bass. And here we go. I'll read the chords as I go to play. C chord, C chord, F chord, C chord, G chord, G chord, C chord, C chord, C chord, and F chord, and C chord, F chord, G chord, sorry, C chord. Okay, now that whole thing was done with just a block bass. So that's the easiest way to do improvisation. I still made up my whole left hand. There is no left hand written here for me. So I literally made up an entire left hand. So it sounds full. It sounds like a full song. It's nice. You could just leave it at that. However, for those who are a little bit more adept on the piano, we're going to learn the next style of bass, and that's called a partially broken bass. So how that works is you're going to play each part of the bass is going to be a quarter note. So C is going to be a quarter note, and then you're going to play the top of the chord, the E and the G, with a chord. And you play that as a quarter, quarter, quarter. And where you play it is basically the 3 beats in the measure. So here we're going to play the C on the first beat, we're going to play EG on the second and EG on the third as it lines up. So I'm going to play for you now for He's a Jolly Good Fellow in partially broken bass. Okay, I'll name the chord again so you can hear it. C chord, C chord, F chord, and C chord. G chord, G chord, C chord, C chord, C chord, C chord, F chord, F chord, and C chord, G chord, and C chord. Okay, so that was the way number 2. The third way we're going to do is called totally broken chord. I call it a full broken chord or just a broken chord. And here you're going to take the chord and you're completely going to split it up. C is the first beat, E is the second beat, G is the third beat. And you're going to play on the music, you're going to play C in the first beat, E in the second beat, and G in the third. So now I'm going to play for you again. I'm only playing half the song, by the way, because it's a little long. So we're going to play it again with fully broken. All right, here we go. I'll list it out loud again. C chord, C chord, F chord, and C chord, and G chord, G chord, C chord, C chord, and so on and so forth. I'm not going to bore you with the whole song. But what I will say this is that when you get good at this, when you really get good at this and you practice it and you do it a lot, you can mix up your styles of bass. You can do maybe a block chord in one measure, you can do a partially broken chord in another, and you can do a fully broken chord in other measures. So I'm going to play for you the song one more time, performance style, but I'm going to mix it up and I'll sort of tell you as I'm going along, and then you can practice this. And one other thing before I do that, I'm going to have you, if you want to screenshot my little page that I wrote out, you can do that. Here it lists the name of the song. We're doing improvisation. These are the 3 chords, the different spellings, the inversions, and the different styles of bass. Okay? And then the song itself, if you want to practice this particular song, you can take a screenshot of the music. Oops, see, that's kind of squishy over there, isn't it? There we go. This style of this page, it's called Easy Play, and it's for a certain kind of electric keyboard. But it looks, the cover, I mean, the way the music series looks like this, I like it because you can do improvisation, but if you're not that good of a note reader, it pretty much tells you what notes to play. Although they are placed in the correct position, like E is on this first line here in the right hand. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna play it in multi-style. Enjoy. C chord, broken, broken, partially broken, partially broken, G chord, broken, C chord, and block, partially broken, broken, block, broken, block, broken, broken, and block. Anyways, okay, so I hope you enjoyed my lesson, and if you have any questions, please feel free to either message me or I think reply on this thread, and I will try very hard to get back to you. But I'll do another one very soon, pick a new song, pick some harder chords. This is relatively only 3 chords. A lot of songs have like 10 chords, so it becomes a lot more challenging as the music gets harder. But this is a great way of trying improvisation. It's really fun. It makes music really interesting. We always want to try and be interesting when we play. Anybody can be a piano player. Anybody can play piano mechanically. It's something else to be a musician and play it as art. So anyways, I hope that you enjoyed today and have a great day.